So to create your own custom brush, first thing you're going to do is have your brush panel open. So again, you can go up to your window menu and open up brushes. And what we're going to do is make an art brush. So to do that, I'm just going to get my line tool from the toolbox and just click and drag a straight line. Okay, just hold shift. And for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to make the stroke a bit thicker so that you can see it on screen. But you can make yours as thin as you like. Once you create the brush, you can always adjust its thickness with the stroke weight. Okay? So it doesn't really matter what size you make it right now. You can always decrease or increase the size of your brush by adjusting the stroke weight. The next thing I'm going to do is taper the ends of the stroke. Okay, so in my brush panel, I'm going to go down to the brush library menu. And this is where you'll see all of the different brushes that are saved inside of Illustrator. I'm going to go to Artistic and select Artistic Ink. Now it's also going to expand another brush panel here for you with different brush effects that you can apply to paths. But if you scroll down to the bottom, the third last one is called a tapered stroke. Okay, so what this is going to do is turn my line segment into a tapered brush. Okay, so something like this. Okay, and if I don't want the middle to be flat like that, I can also change the brush profile. And you have brush profiles in your control panel, which are right here. See where it says uniform? Right? You can choose width profile 1, which might be really good for like hair. Also, profile 5 would be pretty good for like eyelashes as well. So it gets a bit thicker on one end and thinner on the other. Okay, so I'm just going to choose width profile 1. Okay. And that now is what my brush looks like. Okay. So now to convert this into a brush, you can take any vector artwork and drag it into your brush panel. It'll turn it into a brush depending on the one that you want. We're going to convert this into an art brush. So I'm going to select it and just drag it into my brush panel. Okay, so not the artistic ink one, but the main brush panel. I'm going to drag it into there. Once I drag it in there, a little pop-up menu will show up. And it's going to ask me, how would I like to define this brush? Right? So I'm going to select Art Brush from the menu. And then I'm going to click OK. And another dialog is going to open to ask me if I want to name this brush. So I'm going to just call it Hair. Now another thing here that you might want to change is the colorization method from none to hue shift. Hue meaning it just changes the full color. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. And then now that it's saved, you'll see it inside of your brush panel. So I can actually delete that line segment from my artboard. And now if I grab my paintbrush tool, which the shortcut is the letter B, right, I'll select the brush, click and drag, you'll see this is what that brush looks like. Okay. So no matter how I make this path, it's going to have the beginning tapered and the end tapered, and the middle is going to get wider. Okay. So again, I can adjust the size of this. So 0.25 points, but you can actually go much smaller than this, but you have to just type it in manually. So the smallest stroke width you can do is 0.01. Okay. So that's the smallest width that you can go to. And that's really thin, right? As you can see, you can barely even see the definition of it, but if you want a really thin, like wispy hairs, you could do that. And then now with this, I can just come in and just add like little strands just going off of different areas of the hair. And now it starts to make the hair look a little bit more realistic. It doesn't look as flat, right? But I could start to add a little dimension to it as well. Okay, so I could just delete these ones off of my artboard. Okay, so you can use that brush for like the little ends off the hair. You can even come on the inside. And maybe if you have like, you know, a division or part in your hair and you just want to add like little strands, but still see like areas of the scalp come through, you can add that as well. You can add little strands of hair by creating your own custom brush and more details to it. You can also add extensions of the hair with the pen tool. And you can fill in the base of it with the blob brush. So there's just 3 different variations of different tools that you can use in addition to your pen tool.